Hey everyone, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to break the rules because the rules don't seem to matter. I am going to start telling my side of the story. I'm not going to bash anyone. I am not going to do anything like that. I said I was sick yesterday. I wasn't sick yesterday. I was in a bad mood. I was depressed because my reputation, my life is being destroyed by my ex-wife. And she's making a lot of money, somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 million over the last year, crafting a story about how I'm a horrible human being. And my mental health is really suffering because I know it's not true, and I cannot defend myself without it being used against me. But at this point, it's gone too far. It's been nearly 2 years of me, a year and a half of me just minding my own business, just trying to do what's best for my daughters, protect my daughters. And now it's all across the internet that I'm this horrible human. So rather than try to bash the other individual, my ex-wife, Korra Obidi, I am going to simply say, I'm going to simply tell my story about how awesome of a husband I was. So this is not going to be any sort of drama fest. This is just me defending my character. And every single day, somebody's doing something to try to destroy my life based off of things that she said that just simply are not true. I've won everything she said. I have won in court fully. And it just continues for profiteering and to make money. That's all this is about. It's just, let's make some money. Let's capitalize on another person's misfortune who happens to be the father of her children, and let's make as much money as humanly possible. I, on the other hand, have actively not participated in this at all because this is what's best for my kids. But now it's to a point now where I can't look at myself in the mirror because I can't defend myself, and it's just it's frustrating. Many of you have been watching my page, and you can see the kind of person I am. You can see who I am as a man, who I was as a husband, those of you that have been following our story for the last 5 years, and who I am as a father. So rather than bash any individual, I am going to simply talk about myself. So, yeah. Those of you guys don't want to hear it, don't listen. This is me telling how much I love and sacrificed for another human, and refusing to participate in all the profiteering that's going on. So here it goes. Many of you guys know my backstory. I'm a small town Eastern Oregon kid, grew up 19 years old, barely literate, read at a 6th grade level. I only got in college because my college coach pulled a favor to get me in, and I was in on a kind of a special circumstances kind of situation. At 19 I decided I'm going to change my life, and I worked hard for until today to better my life and make a better life for my children. And that is all being destroyed so that money can be made. And I'm not here to make money. I am here because it's really affected me that nothing I do, I follow all the rules. I do not participate in anything. I put the kids first, and at the extreme detriment of myself, and it doesn't seem to matter. So here it is, me telling what kind of husband I was. So, like I was saying, at 19, I couldn't read. By the time I was 28 years old, I had taught 60 continuing education seminars. I had co-created I'm tired. I'm barely sleeping. I created a soft tissue technique for cutaneous nerves. I've invented 2 treatment techniques that have continuing education courses that I teach called the neurocentric approach, which is actually an entire system that I co-created with my mentor that we teach. So I worked really hard to get to China. I worked really hard to work at the Olympic Training Center. I was there for about 3 months. You gotta understand, getting recruited for this job was very prestigious. There was over 300 applicants. They didn't find anybody that was actually qualified, so they called me because it was a very pivotal role in that particular company. So I established my reputation in my industry as a innovator, as somebody that pushed the boundaries, that wasn't afraid to get criticized for coming up with new ideas, because at the end of the day, I am a patient-centered chiropractor, and if something works, even if it doesn't make sense with the conventional science that we have at the time, which now is present, that I was going to do whatever worked to help my patients feel better. So, anyways, so I was in China for about 3 months, and that's when I met Korra, and I'm violating court orders talking about this, but it doesn't seem to matter. Hundreds and hundreds of court order violations later, it doesn't seem to matter. Probably because I'm a male. The system is against men. Absolutely. This is showing me this more than anything. So we met. First night we met, we went out to the club and we had a fantastic night. We both got very intoxicated, and she came back to my house. And being the gentleman that I was, I refused to sleep with her on the first night because I deemed her and myself too drunk. So we did not. And the next morning, that was the only day we spent apart in China, was the next day. From the following day on, we spent every single day, all day together, except for when I was at work or she was at work. I fell in love with her very quickly. Within probably 3 weeks, I knew that this was the person I was gonna marry. And that's not something that, I took lightly at the time, or I still don't take lightly now. And I'm so frustrated I even have to talk about this, but at the end of the day, you gotta defend your livelihood. So, our relationship was perfect in China, to be honest with you. She treated me with respect. She treated me like I was a king, and I returned in kind. So, why did she move to China? She moved to China because she released an EP that was an utter failure. And she moved to China because she wasn't making money as a singer, as a dancer. She had broken up with her boyfriend, and she needed to go and make some money. That was the goal, is to go to China for a few years, make some money, and come back and build a house or something like that. Well, I encouraged her adamantly to follow her dreams because I was the product of somebody that overcame insurmountable odds to accomplish my dreams. And at 28 years old, I had accomplished every dream that I had, every goal that I had put out at that point. So I was extremely happy with where I was, and I knew what it felt like to accomplish something very difficult, to accomplish a dream, and then actually see it occur. And I wanted that for her. I wanted that for my wife, soon-to-be wife at that time. So every single day, and I mean every day, we would go out and we would think of content ideas. And I would film for her. I would motivate her. I would push her to be her best. We would do maybe 50 takes of a dance scene on any given day sometimes. And we wouldn't do it until we wouldn't stop until both of us were very happy with the result. And after a few months of this, see what was working and see what wasn't, I decided that it was working. When she moved to China, she had 43,000 Instagram followers and barely any followers anywhere else. And after just a few months, we got her up to like 80,000 roughly. So we were seeing what was working or not. So in high school, I actually took video productions. I took 2 years of video productions. I made the highlight reel for my cross-country team. I really liked editing videos. So what I did is I bought a subscription to Adobe, and I would take the videos and I would actually speed up her body movements to make her look like a better dancer. Now, she's an extremely gifted, talented dancer anyways, but for social media, it's all about like getting your attention past the first 3 seconds. So I would speed up her hips so they would bounce more. I would speed up her arms so it looked a little bit more eye-catching, because sometimes on video it's not, what looks really good in real life doesn't look as good on camera. So you have to speed it up a little bit. You got to make the hip movements. You got to make it pop more. And that was exactly what I did. And one sec, I'm gonna get some water. This is very difficult for me to talk about because I just simply want to move on with my life and raise my daughters in peace and tranquility. But like I said, she's made $2 million in the last year and a half off of trashing the father of her children, who they love and adore, I will say. So we'd speed up the videos, and I could see it was starting to gain traction. People like the story, country hick, Nigerian princess. That was really sticky as well. So after about, I would say, this was probably about June, I proposed to her on the bund. And I asked her to quit her job, where she was making around, I can't remember the exact number, it was like $2,500 or $3,000 a month, which she had to pay 20% of that to her brother-in-law to pay for for getting her the job, basically. That being said, she actually, on her paperwork, lied to the Chinese government and said that she was an American from Salt Lake City. But she was not. Anyways, I didn't care about that. So I proposed to her, and I asked her to quit her job because we needed to be able to spend more time on creating content. Because at this point, I was absolutely head over heels in love with her. And I'm a strategist, I'm a thinker, this is even difficult for you to talk about. So I come to the conclusion that I was making pretty good money then, about 10 grand a month, which was tax-free money. I didn't have to pay taxes on it. So I said, well, I can just pay all our bills. You should just quit your job and we'll just make content all day. And that's what she did. She quit her job. She still had to pay 20% of her income, or I don't remember the exact percentage, something like that, to her brother-in-law. So then I paid off her brother-in-law the rest of the balance due, because she still had like 8 more months of work or something like that. It was a pretty significant, it was like, I don't know, it was like $7,000 or $8,000 or something. So I paid him so that she didn't have any obligation to him, and she could just create content all day. And that's what we did. I was only working maybe 4 hours a day, because I only had a select group of athletes that I was working with. They wouldn't actually let an athlete work with me unless they were top 3 in the country, which I didn't really agree with, but it is what it is. So yeah, she quit her job, and we started making content every day, and it really, at that point, they really started to blow up. They really did. She really was starting to get like really happy, and anytime, I remember giving her pep talks until 2 or 3 in the morning when I had to work at 8 about we can do this, like, just like this we can do this. We can really make this work. We can really like make you into like a Beyonce of Africa. All we need is like strategy. And so then we started talking about going back to the States. And originally my plan was actually to move to Central Oregon, Bend, Oregon. It's kind of a mountainous, beautiful wonderland, which is more my ideal living. I love mountains more than the ocean. But I told her, I was like, in the entertainment industry, there's only two options of places to live to really make your dreams in this particular entertainment industry even possible. It was Los Angeles or New York City. But she didn't want to deal with the snow, so we moved to Los Angeles, which is probably the better choice anyways, because this is where Hollywood is, this is where all the music studios are, and that sort of thing. So, made a plan to move to Hollywood. We went and did the traditional wedding, and then I moved to Los Angeles, here, where we are now, not knowing a soul. I didn't know anyone from LA. I'd only been to the outskirts of LA once or twice. So I moved here, and I remember it being a very sad, lonely time, because I just came off of like this crazy experience living in China and then living in Nigeria and just all these culturally interesting times. And I had spent a lot of the money that we had made on doing like going eating at awesome places and traveling and paying for the wedding, paying for her brother. So I spent a lot of my money preparing, and then it was like $10,000 for the immigration to immigrate her here. So by the time I got to LA, I really only had like maybe $10,000 to my name. So while I was trying to build my first business, which was a failure, mind you, I was living in hostels. So I remember staying in this particular hostel that was like $30 a night. It was a room with bunk beds, 3 bunks on each side. So I was staying with 6 men, and it was quite obvious that some of them were drug dealers, some of them were like down on their luck, down on their times, and it was, you know, it was kind of like, in my mind, it was like, okay, now I'm backsliding in life a little bit. I just came off of living in a penthouse in one of the most beautiful areas in China, in Shanghai, in Jing'an, near a temple. And now I'm living in a hostel with drug dealers to pursue my wife's dreams. That's why we moved here. We moved to LA for her dreams. And I was fully on board with it, you know. And it definitely worked. I did everything in my power to never let her give up on her dreams. She tried to give up on several instances. I remember several times throughout the marriage, she was so frustrated with not making money that she'd want to drive for Uber, or she'd want to go work at a clothing store or be a waitress. And I would just say, no, that's going to distract you from your dream. And so getting a job that pays minimum wage is just going to take up your time, and it's not like our bills are not paid. So why would we decrease the amount of time that you have to work on your craft? So I always adamantly said, don't get a job. Like, I pay all the bills. Make the plan literally was for her to get a major contract or really get it off the ground. And then while she was in the peak of her career, I would just travel with her and be her manager and take care of everything she needed. So I was completely devoted to helping her achieve everything that she wanted to achieve. And I did that. I did help. I was there every single day filming. I was there every single day editing photos. I was there every single day coming up with content ideas. I was there every day in her corner, supporting her, loving her, and just being a cheerleader for her. Because I was in love. That's just who I am. That's what I do. That's what I do with my kids. And that's what I do for anybody I love. So I truly dedicated my all, everything I had, my energy, my intellect, my finances, my spirit, my body, to propelling her forward so that she could accomplish what she wanted to accomplish. And it was like I put just as much energy into her dreams as I did my own. And after a time, which I will never do again, our entire family structure was centered around her social media needs. And, it's like I would, I, I really went above and beyond to try to always make her happy. I remember many occasions like that I would work a 10-hour day and she was, at home with June and just miserable because she was at home with June and she wanted to be out. So after a 10-hour day, I would watch June and tell her to go out salsa dancing, and she would do this once a week. Once a week, and I was always busy at that time, like literally 10-hour days, because I was trying to, pay off my student loans. I was trying to get us financially, like, solvent and get us financially in a stable place so that we could buy a home. So I worked a lot, and then when I came home, she would want to go out, and I would watch June, and she would go out and party or whatever she did until 4 and 5 in the morning, and I would be up with June, feeding her, whatever was necessary, while she went out and did what she needed to do. And then I'd get up at 7 or 8 in the morning and do the process again. So I was very sleep deprived, very tired all the time. And I really, really dedicated 5 years of my life to making sure that she was happy, making sure that she accomplished what she wanted, and she did accomplish it all. And what did she do once she accomplished it? And I'm not going to go into the negative details of what she did or what I did, because we're divorced. None of that matters anymore. It really doesn't. It really doesn't matter anymore. Because at the end of the day, if I go online, just start bashing her, and continuing to bash her, it's just not going to look good on my character. Am I perfect? No. And it's just not something. I just don't want it to continue to be a back and forth for the duration of my little girls' lives. And that was what I've been trying to avoid for a really long time. A really long time. And it's really, really, it really hurts me that a person that I spent so much of my life trying to build up and just fill that need, that deep, solid need that she had to be this international famous artist, that, it just hurts me that she would turn around, see an opportunity, because the opportunity was there, to try to destroy my life at personal income of herself. It just really was, it was really hurtful. And I'm I want to show you guys something here. I need to. So, it's really sad, but, it is what it is. Do I still love her? No. You can't. You cannot do what you cannot just try to destroy a person's life for over a year and a half and still be in love with that person. But this is what I wanted to show you guys. She's online crying wolf that I'm trying to steal her money. She's always talking about how she is poor single mother, struggling to feed her children. But if you look at this is her Facebook income for 1 month. $85,000 for 1 month of tarnishing my name. There's her name, Chukwufunaya Anita Dean. $85,000 in 1 month off of trashing me. So I shouldn't even be making this video. This will be used against me in court. But it is a tragedy to humanity that someone that could do so much for you, you turn your back on them and try to destroy their life. It is a tragedy to humanity. It is an injustice, and I'm really questioning humanity right now, because you're all there sitting and believing it because she said it, so it must be true. So I can categorically say that everything she said about my character is false, and I've proven and won in court time and time again. But it doesn't matter because the headlines are the headlines, and she's just doing this for money. She's making this shit up all for money. She starts seeing the money. She starts seeing when she talks badly about me, it makes thousands and thousands of dollars a video. So she does it more and more and more all the time. So I've now defended my own character. I have now defended my own peace of mind. And I don't intend on talking about this subject again. I am not going to come on here and bash my ex and say all the horrible, horrible things that she did in our marriage. It's over. I need to think about the kids and moving forward. And right now what she's doing is destroying my little girl's future. It's unacceptable. I'll see you later. Hey everyone. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to break the rules because the rules don't seem to matter. I am going to start telling my side of the story. I'm not going to bash anyone. I am not going to do anything like that. I said I was sick yesterday. I wasn't sick yesterday. I was in a bad mood. I was depressed because my reputation, my life is being destroyed by my ex-wife. And she's making a lot of money, somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 million over the last year, crafting a story about how I'm a horrible human being. And my mental health is really suffering because I know it's not true, and I cannot defend myself without it being used against me. But at this point, it's gone too far. It's been nearly 2 years of me, a year and a half of me just minding my own business, just trying to do what's best for my daughters, protect my daughters. And now it's all across the internet that I'm this horrible human. So rather